Hi, my name is Heather Brown and I teach second and third year students in the advertising design program. If you are new to this level of program, if you're a second year parent or student, welcome. If you are a third year parent and student, welcome back. It's good to see you guys again. A couple things I wanted to go over before we get into the PowerPoint presentation for tonight's event. Some things that I sent home with your center daughter the first couple days of school. We have, whether they're second or third year, they got some form of kit box. So I'll probably be referring to this later in the PowerPoint. I wanted to make sure that you knew what that was or what I was talking about. They also received a student binder. This is going to be a lot of the guided notes, worksheets, anything that they're going to need for the class, basically. So in here, I tried to alleviate some of the problems that we had last spring. Some of those were things like nobody was really sure when things were due. Maybe you didn't have a printer at home. So to start, every single week we have a checklist of what is due and when, and it describes for the students, second and third years are slightly different, what project they're working on, what their due date is, maybe if they have a quiz or a test that week. We also have probably the most important part for you guys as parents and guardians. At the very, very back of the binder, there's a section that looks like this, and I call it the help desk. So back here, there's going to be things like, this is a step-by-step guide on how to get to their emails, something that they're going to need to get into routinely. This is the contact information for several important members of the building that you or the students might need to get in contact with. So if you're really having IT issues, maybe Mr. Groyo can help. My contact information is in there as well. If they are someone who needs a learning facilitator or assistance from a learning facilitator, her information's in there as well too. So just wanted to point that out. There's also a page in there on how to access Adobe products from home for free, just for whenever we get to those projects. All right, let's hop on to the PowerPoint. Okay, like I said at the beginning, my name is Heather Brown, and I do teach second and third year advertising design. My contact information's here, but I'm also going to share it with you at the very end. So if you missed it, that's totally fine. So just some of the subjects that are going to be covered this year. This year, we usually have a typical flow to the classroom. I do certain subjects in certain times. This year, just because of us missing so much last spring, I'm probably going to shake this up a bit and move some things around. Typically speaking, we focus on traditional media and graphic design in the fall, and then we hop into multimedia in the spring. But don't be surprised, come October, November, that we start doing some more multimedia stuff, because I know second years missed part or all of their Premiere projects. Third years, we missed web. So things like that, we're going to shift around so that people kind of get a little bit more experience earlier than they normally would, but it's still going to work out fine. So we go through all of these items. Essentially, we're preparing for the very end for graduation, and we are doing things in for specific reasons to work on our portfolio, to work on NOCTI prep. NOCTI is going to be for graduating seniors only, so if you are someone who's the parent or guardian of a junior, don't worry about that just yet. Seniors, we're going to slowly prepare for the NOCTI throughout the year. They're actually going to take a practice version of it next week. Not graded, nothing to panic about, just to see kind of where everybody is, especially after last year. So what a typical week will look like. I kind of say that with a grain of salt because we all know that these weeks right now aren't typical. Basically what I'm doing to try to keep everybody on the same page to the best of my ability is every Sunday evening I'm sending emails to every one of my students. So it's at their Beatty email address, so the student.beattytech.com email address. There is a step-by-step guide if they need to access it from home and they don't remember how, in that help desk section of their binder, but they can access this from home. So I say, like, if you are someone who is group A or someone who comes in on Mondays and Tuesdays, here are the things you're going to need to do. If you're group B and you're someone who's here Thursday and Fridays, might be a little different order, but here's what you're going to do. And virtual students, you might even have yet a third order. We've got a lot of irons in the fire this year, but this is what you guys need to do. Okay? If there's ever questions, parents or guardians, please reach out. Your students have the ability to reach out to me on Remind that comes right through my cell phone. So unless I'm, wrestling my daughter to eat her dinner, I will answer that as long as I'm awake. Speaking of Remind, this is how we are doing attendance this year. So I believe we're at about 95% of students have already signed up and have been good to go. Parents and guardians, you're also welcome to join. So if you want to, if your son or daughter is in the AM session, you send this text message, including the @ symbol, so the 8G2GE3, to the number 81010, and you'll join right away. It'll ask you if you are a parent, a student, or a teacher. Just select parent. You're going to get the same messages. So you'll also see, unfortunately, the daily attendance message, but you'll also see all of the classroom announcements as well. If your son or daughter is in the PM session, over here on the other side, this is your text message to send, and that'll pop you right into my afternoon session. The daily attendance questions are things like, what's your favorite color, or what's your favorite food? And all they have to do for morning students, they have to do it by 8 a.m. That's kind of our deadline for attendance here in the building. So for morning students, I ask them point blank, basically, how early do you want it? And most of them said they're still up, at midnight. So I have it set for midnight the day before. They have till 8 a.m. to respond. And then afternoon students, those come around 8 a.m. and they have until noon basically to respond to it. We are a classroom that participates heavily in Skills USA. This year, we're not exactly sure what Skills USA is going to look like yet. That's obviously still in the works. So I did tell my students, I know we had several that had started the competition process last year before everything, kind of blew up. If they are interested in competing, I will back them to the fullest amount of my ability, but we're going to wait and see a little bit what this year is going to bring exactly. There will be something, but we're not sure if it's virtual, if it's, in person. Very likely it's going to be at least partially virtual. All right, these are just some general success tips for probably any program in the building, truly. We're going to try to be here as much as possible. Now, I know I also say that with a grain of salt because some of you guys are virtual, and that's totally fine. And what I mean by be here is make sure that you're making time every day to complete assignments for advertising design as well as your regular academic programs. Second and third year runs a little bit faster pace than first year curriculum, so it can build up pretty rapidly. We're already, for example, finishing up our second project, where I don't even know that the first years have even started their first, and we're moving into the third week of school already. Take notes. There are guided notes in every one of those binders ready for you, so that they just really have to fill in the blanks while I'm either lecturing in front of them. If there's someone who's hybrid, I'm trying to keep the lectures while they're in class so they can ask questions a little more fluidly. Or if you're virtual, I have them pre-recorded. But same deal, guys. If your students who are virtual have questions, by all means have them reach out and self-advocate. I will answer the same question a million times rather than leave someone behind. Be prepared for class. So in that Sunday evening email, I also list any items that they're going to need to bring with them, especially since we're only here on limited days and because I'm trying to reduce the amount of shared items in the classroom. It's really important that they bring what they need to bring. Have them check that email Sunday evening. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying to get them out by 7 p.m. Take 5 minutes, throw those items in your car, in your book bag, what have you, and that way they'll be good to go. Keep an open mind is kind of for all of us. So students, parents, and me, this is all different for everybody. We're going to try to do as much as we can to the best of our ability this year. If something's not working out for your student or for yourself, please, guys, reach out and let me know. I will adjust as needed. We'll fix it. We'll make it happen. We're going to be trying new techniques this year, obviously, both in the instruction portion and in the actual lessons that we do with the students. There's going to be mediums that are going to be unfamiliar to them too. That's totally fine. We'll get through it. Last one, obviously, ask questions. Again, I would be more than happy to go over something a million times than have anyone feeling confused. So this year in particular, electronic communication is going to be the best method to get a hold of me. just because since the students are limited in the time that they're actually in the classroom, I would rather not take a phone call during class time, especially. So please email me. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Typically speaking, if the email comes through before 2:30 p.m., I will probably get to it that day. If not, I might not see it until the next day. My classroom phone number is here. That's the 1955 number. That does get the direct line to the classroom. But again, as much as possible, I'm going to try not to answer phone calls during class time. Also via the Remind app. So if you ever need to get me outside of school hours, make sure your son or daughter or yourself signs up for the Remind program. That way you can actually get to me right away. And unless I'm sleeping or working with my daughter, um, I will be answering questions. If you guys have any questions in the meantime about anything going on this year, by all means, please feel free to reach out to me. I will be happy to answer them to the best of my ability. Thank you.